Hi, Trudy. Welcome to Ivy and the CIA. Thank you so much for being our guest.
It's such a pleasure to be here with you, Ivy and CIA. My name is Trudy, and I have been a health coach for the last 15 years, so since 2006. And I also am a real estate investor. So those are two amazing things that I'm passionate about in my career. However, the most blessed thing I am is a mom because it took me over 7 years to become one. So I'm a mom of two, and that is my best blessing. And I love what I do because I can do it with my family. So I don't have to just be a workaholic. I can teach them about health and all that stuff. So yeah, that's about me.
Thank you so much, Trudy. Nice to meet you. And just curious, how did you get into health coaching and then into real estate investing?
That is a great question. So actually, I was going to school to become a lawyer, and I wanted to be a criminal lawyer because I wanted to improve upon the judicial system. And I realized through my research, the only way to impose any change or invoke any difference is to be a politician or to be a judge. And in that journey, I got really like bedridden, really sick. Like, I mean, bedridden. You wouldn't see it on my outside. Like, I was very physically fit. I had almost like 4 pack, 6 pack abs, like very firm, very toned. But just my insides were not at balance. So I did some, and then my girlfriend, which was really sick, I saw her transformation in a short amount of time, 30 days. Like, she was at my house. She had clumps of her hair falling out because she was so malnutrition. And then 30 days later, I see her with this lustrous color and this just vivacious energy. And I'm like, girl, what you doing? And she's like, I'm like, wait, don't tell me because it's probably way too out of my price range. She's like, no, it tastes great and it's easy. And I'm like, okay, girl, here's my credit card, sign me up. And it's been 15 years and my children are absolutely, I mean, I would love to be eating from my garden on a environment of soil but that's not our lifestyle. So this is a great way to bridge that gap. So that's how I became in that. And then law pretty much, I was doing law the whole time as I was sick. I was doing that the entire time. And now I'm doing that on a real estate level. So I've taken the knowledge from the law and I brought it into real estate. So, and I'm still doing that aspect of law.
Oh, that's beautiful. And what an incredible health transformation. Can you share with the audience what it is that transformed you? If it was a product or a health program, we'd love to hear about that.
It definitely, I believe it was a contribution to a health program. However, in health, we're mind, body, and soul. And I believe to the words that we speak and the environment, healthy relationships to the food that we eat, because food is thy medicine. But I believe there's not just one thing that we can thank for health, because health is not a destination, it's a journey, right? So I believe that's really crucial. But there is one thing that really helped me with learning about nutritional cleansing. So I don't know what your faith is. I don't want to, for your listeners, I want to compliment all your listeners. I want to say whatever your faith is. I have grounded faith in Christianity, and my faith says that my temple, I'm only given this one temple, regardless what your faith is, the universe or your God. We're only given this one house to live in, and so I believe that take care of the temple that you have in the body. So
100%. I am someone of faith, and I do believe that God has gifted us with an incredible mind, an incredible gifts and talents, and that if we use them to bless others, if we use them the way they're intended to, we live an abundant life, and we have the opportunity to share that kind of gift with other people who need some hope, need some encouragement. So it's incredible that you found this, and I would say that fruits and vegetables are the foundation of a good health. One of the pillars, and amongst making sure you're getting enough sleep, hydrating, movement is a big one, and managing your stress. And I'm also a health coach as well. My journey is because of what my mom went through that I became a health coach, but I'll have to tell you that another time. So if you could tell your younger self some
mhm.
advice about who you are today, what would you tell your younger self at what age?
There was a dark time that I had in my life. I lost my mother not to natural causes, and I would say there's that journey of darkness. And in that time of like, I really didn't know faith yet. And I felt it was a dark zone. It was just like, if I have to reflect, it's almost like this blankness. I don't even have huge recollection. I think my body went in an entire fight or flight. Like, again, my mom was taken, her life was taken. And through that, I believe that I would go into that zone of my life and I would say, Trudy, just love yourself. Just love yourself. Like, and it all starts from just self love. Just love yourself. It's, you know, and because you're in that dark zone in your head, doesn't mean that people outside don't love you. They just don't, I just feel that it's just so, and I mean, I was so young. I lost her when I was 8 years old. So, and, yeah, my two boys, I have two boys, they're 10 and 11, and I can't imagine like it. But, all that is learning and blessings. And I believe that makes me a better person, a better friend, a better mother, a better, all those are gifts, not in the process, but I mean, it's messy. But anyways, to answer your question, I would definitely say, love, self love.
100%. And I am the person that believes if someone with self love isn't able to love other people because you can accept yourself with your perfect imperfections, with your flaws and everything. And that's what's beautiful about humans. I love that. I want to see people be their most authentic self. And I want to see the best in them and I want to bring that out of them. And that's just something I really enjoy, especially meeting guests like you on our podcast that you can share about your life stories and how it's changed your life and everybody else's lives around you. Now, if I were a genie and I could only give you one wish and no wishes to be a genie, but what would that wish be and why?
Again, it's kind of contradictory to what I said, because every lesson is, we're here to learn, I feel that, in this earth. And I think if I could play that genie role, I would say I would just want my mom back. I would just want to, just, but I know if she's in heaven, I don't know with how her journey of her life being taken. I hope she was in heaven. I do sense a presence. I do feel her, especially when I was pregnant. I felt like, I don't know if that's spiritual or belief or what you believe. I don't want to go esoteric on us, but I do just felt like this presence. I felt her, and I do feel like, but I would just, that genie, I would say, genie, I just want like to spend time with my mom or want her back or something to do with her. Um, but that's one thing that I would do. And then of course, if you want to go really big scale, I would say like world peace or something like that, or feed the hungry or something like that. But I would, in my gut instinct, would say just to see my mom again.
I would agree with you because of my mother. And even though she passed away over 10 years ago, there's not a day that goes by. I just wish that what I wish the most is somebody to mind my business.
Hmm.
And you get the opportunity and the privilege to do that for your kids. And so it's awesome. And you take the best of that too. And it's evident in how you show up and how much you care about them. And as of
Mm.
course, in the beginning, when you introduced that you're a mom of two kids, and it wasn't easy, that you cherish them so much more. You appreciate what you have so much more. You don't take that for granted.
Well said.
Speaking of taking things for granted, what is one book that you would, if you could only choose one book on a private island and you're stuck there for the rest of your life, what is one book that you would choose and why?
Okay, girl. 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 Okay, so I got my in my real estate. I gotta go this. I gotta go Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki is like the foundation, so I gotta say that. And I gotta say, for healing, Louise Hay is amazing, and Pete Sage, the inside track is really great. And this, everyone, like, you can even see my copy is so tattered every Saturday mornings. But I'd say if it was only one, everything relates back to this. Everything,
Yes.
like everything. Like all these beautiful books with all these beautiful authors with all these beautiful stories and journeys. Nothing has been reinvented since this. So if I only choose one, although libraries, and I also love my journal. Like I have a daily journal, so I like to time block. I do a lot of it in my phone too, but the planning part, like we know from Eric Lofholm, right? Like the planning is so key to plan it out. So to have an affirmation. So that's in this journal. Affirmations, journaling, planning, it's all in that. But I would say only one. It'd have to be this one.
I love it. And honestly, I have to get back to reading that just because if I want to build a spiritual foundation, I can't skip that part of studying and meditating. And but
Mm-hmm.
you're right about the planning and the affirmations and the seed that you place in your mind, in your subconscious mind, because it's amazing that our mind can it accepts anything as truth, good or bad, and it's just we have to be just very aware of what we're allowing into that space and what we're allowing, what we choose to believe, what stories we choose to believe. And speaking of story, what is a habit or belief that has helped you become the person you are besides self-love?
I think there's one thing above all that changes everything, and that's your environment. Environment. So if you're hanging out with 9 people that smoke, guess what? You're going to be the 10th. If you hang with 9 people that are spiritual and on a journey of awakening and a journey of contribution or on a journey, guess what? You're going to be the 10th. So, if you're in a cold room and if you go hot, like the only thing that you can change is environment. And environment, because of the exact same thing that you just said, whatever goes in our subconscious can't discern from right or wrong, good or bad. It just knows that it's going in. So I believe that our environment is huge impact. So the people I surround myself with, I know family, we can choose them, but in moderation, though, let's hope. But my mastermind group, like my friends, all those people that uplift me, support me, my cheerleaders, people that are really authentically cheering me on. I would say it's my environment.
I love it. Your environment does play a huge role because it is a big part of the influence that you allow in your life or don't even realize you allow in your life. And it's just amazing some of the things that we don't realize can make such an impact by someone's comment from a childhood or something that happened that you made a meaning and a story about it that's either
Mm,
hindered or propelled you further, right? Um,
mm.
and that's just, I mean, when you become aware of it, it's like, oh, I want to change that story. If there was something that you could change about one of your stories, your limiting beliefs, what was it that helped you overcome your failures or any setbacks?
I really say that the big impact was faith for me to propel in a different direction than I like when I met my 2 children. I knew a love like no other, an unconditional love. But when you have your love for faith and Lord, and that's just above, let's, I think love is a choice. If the Greeks done it well, right? They did it like you can love food, you can love clothes, you can love your friend, you can love, you know, but when you look into unconditional love for your children or agape love, which is for faith, your Lord. So I'd say before those times, though, the thing I would say myself would be, not to be your enemy, like to talk to yourself, to speak. Would you speak to yourself the way, like before those days of faith? I would say I spoke to myself like I was my worst enemy, like before those times, like in my dark zones of my after the loss of my mom and how she was taken from me. It wasn't by any natural means. So I would say, yeah, like don't talk to yourself like you're your enemy. Talk to yourself like you're your best friend. And this is a huge one. Like Louise Hay, she definitely talks about self-love and but really look at yourself. If you wouldn't have friends, speaking to you like that, why would you speak to yourself like that? So I would say those. my words to myself before my
Th-
faith was
Those
definitely that.
are,
That I would change
oh,
it to be more of love, change it to be more from love, not an enemy. I would change that.
it's just amazing to see you process some of the questions I'm asking and get you to share, I believe, what the audience would find very valuable in your life insights and what inspire you and motivate you. And speaking of that, who in your life has made a big impact in your life and why?
I'd say some of my friends that have now become my sisters. I can't just say one. You can't just say one. Other than if it was one, it would definitely be my relationship with God and faith, and that's always ever growing. But I remember my one of my best friends and I. We have a very full heart to serve, and we created this one charity event that 10,000 people attended, and the change that we could invoke. And the power of a mastermind, when you look at Think and Grow Rich and you think, oh my gosh, how is this all going to come together? How can we man this raffle table? How can we do this? There's just so much needs to come together. And then all of a sudden, you just ask prayer and you just ask for help. And next thing you know, this person's calling you. This person wants to volunteer. This person, we had a group of volunteers that came, and they just like, it just smoothly comes together when I think when you come from a great place in your heart and you come from a place of servant and growth and to give others. I don't know. I think those friends around me, I call her my SS, my super sexy sister. Her name is Norma. I'd say that Norma, because she's so rooted in her faith and she's so, grounded in to serve. I would say she was definitely, and we're looking at Itchy to do another one. So, because we're going to try to have to look at doing the physical with with COVID. We're going to have to do something online as well. But so I'd say her because she's a person that I can grow with and grow with through decades. So I think I have a lot of friends. I don't want to say that but she's right now that someone that I have evolved with and can grow with. And all of my friends, though, I have a lot of friends that are I don't have a big family, so a lot of my friends are my family, and I've had them for like decades. I don't want to say that I'm that old, but that's what I am, so that's what it is. But yeah, so decades. So I've been very blessed with good people around me. So I'm just so thankful for that. But I really want to just narrow in on obviously God and then Norma.
I think it's amazing. Norma, if you're out there and you listen to the podcast, kudos to you. It's God knows what you need, and He doesn't always give you what you want, but He knows your deepest needs. And so, all the friends and the people that He surrounded you in your life was to just remind you of who you are in Christ, and that's a beautiful thing. I think it's you never want to. You got to be bold in who you are, and this is what I hear. I'm here to remind people is never ever compromise and settle for who you are around other people, and that your relationships are so important because they either will make or break you. And when you know you're surrounding yourself with the right people, you know that you want more of that. That's what you will attract more of. And so the person you are and the people that you attract in your life is because of who you are and what you want more in your life. And God sees that, and it's really cool to see that you are living that law of belief, and you are in a lot of other universal laws in the Bible that you lived it today, and you can see it in how everything else is playing in your life, in your health, in your wealth, in your relationships. And Think and Grow Rich is just a beautiful way of distilling those simple ideas and getting us to think a little more profoundly and deeply about how that can be manifested, right? And that's
Mm.
why I mean I love that book as well. That's what if I had a pick, that would be the second pick after the Bible as well. So it's like, ooh, so good choices on your three that when you pulled up the books. What is one superpower that you wish you had?
I want to just spread this like pixie dust of love all over humanity because I believe as I share my journey with you, in my darkest hour, love and the lack of positive self talk are the two things that I believe didn't allow me to come and be in the shoes of my authentic self. So I want to put that love, and with enough love, like you know the stars in the sky can't shine, like they're light but they're in darkness but they're light, right? So if you have enough love and light, the darkness will fade. So I just want to like, and then there's people that don't obviously know God yet or faith. So I would just definitely say that as I'm spreading my pixie dust, that they too can know this deep love and faith, that they too can have that as a gift if they still open the door, right? So I'd say
Absolutely.
love. I don't know. I would just say love. Like I think love is the one thing that I exude the most, and that's the place that I want to come from. Even though I know I can be resilient and I know I can be tough. I have three brothers, and believe me, we've had some brother love, tough love times where and yeah, but it's made me stronger, and I can take care of myself. But love is really where I want to lead from. So I'd say love.
I love it. I can feel that you do lead from that. There's a gentleness about you, and people feel safe, and they want it's for you. It's a gift to build trust and rapport
Mm.
because you come from that space, and that's the kind of energy that you give off. I think it's a beautiful energy. What are some other good resources that had helped you along the way?
I'm a kind of a, like a personal development junkie. I love reading, um, but I also love just getting in nature too. Just I love getting my sketchbook and writing some, like drawing some beautiful trees, and just getting to a quiet place and meditating. And sometimes the answers are within, but I would definitely say the resources are wonderful people like Tony Robbins and Eric Lofholm and Pete Sage, and oh my gosh, so many authors, right? Napoleon Hill, and so definitely the book, the world of nonfiction. Um, I have now been slowly replacing all my fiction books. Like it's getting smaller and with nonfiction, and we all have a story in ourselves. Like, and I'm on a journey to write my own story. I have three of those stories on the go. One of which is, my journey with, the loss of my mom. That would be a very therapeutic one. So I would just say like lots of books and authors and motivational speakers, and like you, Ivy, like I see you all the time on Eric Lofholm, and you know what? You're like I don't drink caffeine. You're my espresso in the morning from Monday to Friday. Like you're always chiming in on Eric Lofholm's it's people like you. So and sometimes it's the stranger just saying like the most beautiful compliment.
You have a thirst for knowledge and wisdom. That is why I'm drawn to the Bible. If I could step into your shoes, what would you have asked yourself that I didn't?
You know what? That's a deep one. That's a deep. You've asked me so many influences about my environment, so many. I would just say like, when it's your time to go, Trudy, like, what is your legacy? When it's your time, and like that Les Brown thing, don't leave with the music still in you, like don't leave with that song. So just really leaving a legacy is so crucial to me. So I would say something like, make sure like you're planning that out, or because I think it's like after I met Eric Lofholm, he creates these like goals of decade and goals into like the way of the future. So I would just say it's about when it's that last breath I'm about to take, and and it's that when I look at my life in the whole life perspective, when I see everything, and it's kind of like, I don't know if you ever watched that movie Schindler's List. And he's got that little pin, and he's like, I just could have saved one more person. So I would just say sometimes, if there's one thing that you would ask about me, it's just sometimes get out of your head sometimes, Trudy. And when you're too much in your head, help someone else. Help someone else. Because then if it's that last breath I'm about to take, I want to say, if I could just help that one more person, just like that pin, that gold pin, I could have saved one more person, in that movie, right? Schindler's List, like one more Jewish person, I could have rescued one more person. So I would just say like, don't make it about yourself. And that's one thing I would say, like, what would you ask yourself, or what would the advice you would give if it was your last breath you'd make? And it'd be like helping others, and get out of your head, like when you're in your moment, when you're too thick in the fog of your own thoughts, um, just help someone right away, or dance. you know,
I love it. This is beautiful. It gets you thinking a little more thoughtfully about where you are in your life today. Because if I was to do an interview with you years later, you're going to be evolving, and it's going to be so cool. So, what's the best way for our audience to get in touch with you?
Online, Facebook, for sure, Trudy Bak, TrudybAk. I think that would be the best. And then we can, or via email, Trudy D Bak. So my middle initial is D for Deborah. So Trudy D Bak at gmail.com. I would love to share my resources and pull into them and whatever they're looking at, unblocking with them. I do a lot of coaching through health and wealth, and I would love to give them a gift of hopefully blossom in their life, right? A seed to blossom.
Thank you so much, Trudy, for sharing with us. It was a pleasure having you on our podcast.
It was a pleasure being here.